because my passage is it has been a little bit difficult for me, and I had to do a lot of self-searching and cleansing before I deliver the message, and praise the Lord, it's not easy, and but I'm going to try my best to explain it. Okay, let's pray. Father, we thank you, Lord God. We thank you that we can study your word, we can dissect your word, analyze your word, and Lord God, that we can share it with your people, Lord God. Lord, help me to deliver the message the way you want me to deliver it. Use the right words. I pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Praise the Lord. So my message is Luke 6:38. It says, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you." All right? So before I start to explain it, I'm going to clear something. Because this verse right now in our generation, many evangelical churches and prosperity preachers, they are using this for a material means. They're using it as in, you give, you get back. What you reap, what you will sow. This is how the evangelical churches, some of them, and prosperity gospels, not all of, some of them are using this. But we're not against giving. Actually, the Bible, there are so many passages that instruct that you need to give to the church, you need to give to the brethren that are in need. So we're not against that. We support giving to the church. I mean, and the material money, we should be giving and we should be generous, and we have verses to back it up. But here, Jesus clearly, he doesn't mean material means here in this verse. Especially if we look at the verses above it and verses beneath, from Luke 6 to 36 to 42, he says, "Be merciful, even as your Father is merciful. Judge not, and you will not be judged. Condemn not, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, you will be forgiven." And then here he drops to this verse, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put into your lap. For with the same measure you use, it will be measured back to you." If we remove this verse, we can see clearly that Jesus is talking about how much he expects his followers and disciples to show the same, to show mercy and in an uncondemning attitude towards others. This is the expectation of Jesus, and he's teaching and he's asking his followers there. And actually, I went back to the Old Testament because I was like, Lord, what verse can I go back to? And it took me to Exodus 21 to 24 to 25. In the Old Testament, it was eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. And even us, ourselves, if before we become a Christian, we were the same. It was like, she did this, I'm going to do even worse to her, tit for tat. Right? All of us, we were in our sinful nature, we were holding grudges, we were full of hate, all of us, before we become a Christian, right? But then Jesus here is asking his followers that no, then after you become a Christian in the New Testament, it's other way around. It is not like that. And I love this verse, Romans 5:8 is written in the word, God showed his love towards us while we were still sinners. Christ died for us. When we were in our sinful nature, when we were full of hate and grudges, we were enemies. God, even in that state of being, God loved us and He died for us, and He's expecting the same amount of mercy that He showed. He's expecting His followers to show it to others. Now, I'm going to read some of the passages that how much Jesus is emphasizing on forgiveness and loving the brethren. And here, Matthew 5:22 to 24, it says, "But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council. And whoever says, 'You fool,' will be liable to the hell of fire. So if you're offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go first, be reconciled to your brother, and then come and after offer your gift." So here Jesus is saying that, I'm going to make it sure, that before you come to worship and you bring the offering of worship, before you lift up your hands and worship me, it's better for you to go and reconcile and forgive your brother, and then you can come and worship me. I'm just emphasizing how much Jesus is saying forgiveness is important in the new birth. And then we have in Luke 6:27 to 28, it says, "But to you who are willing to listen, I say, love your enemies. Do good to those who hate you. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who hurt you." And there, in the last one, Jesus is saying to his disciples, he's asking, forgive your brethren. But now, in this verse, he's saying not only your brethren, bless the people who rape you, who hurt you, who has done wrong against you. Pray for them and do good to them. How is that possible? And then there is another verse. Here, Peter comes to Jesus and says, "Lord, how often will my brother sin against me and I forgive him? As many as 7 times?" Jesus said to him, "No, not 7 times," answered Jesus, "but 70 times 7 you need to forgive your brothers." And now the topic starts from here. This requirement, love your enemy, the people who abused you, used you. How are you going to do this? It is impossible, but this is the mark of the Christianity, actually, right? This shows that you have been, when you accept the Lord, that you have been born, and then you are having the Holy Spirit inside of you, and the new life will regenerate a new kind of reaction to this behavior, to these things that happen to you. You will react in a different manner. That's why one of the reasons that Pastor Ferdy, he was insisting for everyone to come to the retreat, right? For the baptism of the Holy Spirit. Because we say that, okay, we have the Holy Spirit, but why I still have hate and anger and unforgiveness in my heart? That's why he was insisting that you need the empowerment of the Holy Spirit. Because if the Holy Spirit, he doesn't help you, you cannot do what is impossible. Because it says that it says that right. It says that while you were sinners, Christ loved you, showed mercy, and he died for you. How can you show the same amount of mercy as only God did? You must have the strength of the Lord to be able to do the same that what he did. And if you are unable to do that, my brothers and sisters, you need to be baptized by the Holy Spirit. You need to check yourself that why I still have hate and unforgiveness in my heart. But then we have some brethren saying, oh, okay, I forgive them, but then at my work that they're going to use me, abuse me, they're going to give me more work to do, more things to clean, they're going to do that, right? Right? But then, listen to this, there is a verse for that. Right, because we are super nice, we are forgiving, so they're gonna use us. But then, you know, we have the God of the universe on our side. It says, Romans 12:19 says, beloved, never avenge yourself, but leave it to the wrath of God. Yes. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. Yes. So, praise the Lord. This is it. This makes our life so much easier. What your job is to forgive the brethren, forgive your enemies, forgive what has been done to you, and let God leave room for the work of God, leave room for the wrath of God, and let God do what He is supposed to do. Our job is just to relax and be there. God either will touch them, will change their heart, or God will remove them, as what Pastor Ferdy he says. What you need to do is just forgive. The Holy Spirit has to forgive you, first and foremost. And then you do not need to protect yourself and watch what am I doing or what I'm not doing. You have to leave it to, you just relax and sit, and God will, you do not do the work of God. God has to do His job. Either He will touch those people and change their heart, or God will remove them. That's the prayer of the Pastor Ferdy also. Lord, change them or remove them from the ministry. And we don't know. That's the job of the God, and we just need to relax, right? And then, in conclusion, this is the conclusion. We're done, almost. One more thing that I have to do search. And if you say that I have the Holy Spirit and I'm going to every Bible study, but I have still hate and unforgiveness inside of me, do one thing. Lock yourself in your room and pray to God, Lord, help me to forgive, help me to let go of the anger and hate in my heart. And you will be surprised. God will help you to overcome the anger of your past, present, or he will help you. And if He doesn't, you need to really check yourself. You need the miracle of God. You need the miracle of the Holy Spirit to be able to forgive one another. Amen. In Jesus' name.